So, has there been any? So there's been some Did you guys mostly interact as? Did you guys ever interact as your characters with the audience? Do you interact as yourselves, or how does that work? Half and half. Sometimes you do one and the other.
Well, I always joke that if Esther were a little bit more like Shelly, that would be me. And it's pretty much I'm very like. Naturally, I'm very Esther, I'm very sarcastic and everything, but at the same time, I'm a girl. I like girly clothes, and I also established on the VU panel, if you guys saw that yesterday, I established I'm a hot mess. And, so it's kind of a mix of both for me.
Yeah, we don't do any in-character stuff in terms of like the characters don't have an online presence, but I think it's important and has been for me really fun to, I didn't get a Tumblr until like recently, and I'm obsessed with it. It's really fun. It's cool to show you guys who we are in relation to that, and also as a departure from that. You know, I do relate to Zelda a lot, probably more than a lot of the characters that I play. But at the same time, I'm not Zelda. You know, I'm Mary Kate, and I have a different set of wants. You know, she wants to be a space pirate. I want to be an actor, and I do wear dresses sometimes. Most of the time. I'm wearing one right now. It's so crazy. But that's really fun for us to get to show you who we are.
Yeah, I feel like it's interesting to see people draw the connection between you two and the themes of the show and how they reach out that way.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that maybe?
Yeah, I don't know what to say.
Like, you remember, like you sent me an email, or you read an email?
I did. I got an email this week from you can get on my website and there's a contact form and it goes to my email. So if you want to send me an email, you can do that. And I got an email and I think the subject line was, IDK, what do I even put here? And I was like, okay. But this girl wrote me a very lovely, I don't even think she gave me her name. I'm assuming it's a girl. I don't know. But it was just like, oh my gosh, how did you do that? How did you get out of your hometown and go to LA? Like, I don't even know how I could do that, but I just want to be like Zelda. I feel so much like Zelda. I'm so tired of this town. How do you do it? Like, I admire you so much, and it was very frantic. And I was like, girl, calm down. It's okay. Like, it'll happen. But the fact that, you know, and that I did do that. I am from Arkansas, and I was in a small town, and I was very bored, and that's what I have related to, and I think what everybody who likes the show relates to. You know, from the very beginning, my wants are very much the same as Zelda's. And if I can, you know, awaken that in people or make people aware of that and know that you can do something more, then like, awesome. That's the whole point.
Do you feel like it was a little bit more difficult to get a sense of your characters, or you're learning more about them along the way?
I felt like at the beginning I really had a strong connection with Esther, but the more, like, when we get new pages and I'm seeing things, and it's, I think with everybody, when you are on a show and you get something that kind of comes out of left field and you're like, oh, there is a part of her that would do that. And I think that's just, it's something that we as humans do, where it's like, you know who you are, you know how you react and everything, and then there's a curveball that comes and you have to think and react and be like, okay, how do I do this? And it was very easy for me on Esther's level to, like, when there's some stuff that's coming up that I was just like, oh, okay. But then I was just kind of like, okay, yeah, that's who she is. That is just part of her, and we go on from there. So it's fun discovering new things about her when I get to be Esther.
It took me a while to feel comfortable in Zelda's skin, and if you watch the behind-the-scenes interview that I did with Matt, I said that already, so I'm sorry to repeat myself. But when we shot the first little bit, you know, I don't know, that's always a insecurity for me as an actor, is like, oh gosh, am I doing it right? You know, like, am I creating this person? Am I real enough? Am I different enough? All these things, and the fact is, you know, the reason that we get cast in these parts is because we're right for those parts. And that is something that, as an actor, is great and terrible. You know what I mean? Because you will go out on so many auditions, and the person who is right for it is the one who ends up getting it. So knowing that, you know, Zelda is inside of me. Like, Zelda is a huge part of who I am, and I was just not trusting that. And now I feel a lot more comfortable with that, and glad that you guys hopefully relate to that. You know, that's exciting.
Really curious about, actually, you two. How do you relate to your characters?
It's funny because I've always thought of Shelly as kind of the antagonist between them, and always the one that sparks a little bit of the drama and comes in between their friendship. So I was like, oh my god, I'm playing kind of like the bad character. I've always seen Shelly as a bit of an outcast, and she doesn't really know who she is, and I never really fit in that much in high school. So granted, I didn't want to be popular, I really didn't care. And so having someone that wants so badly to be acknowledged, I think all of us in some way can relate to, and kind of feel like seeing those humane characteristics about her and seeing her more as just like this girl that like pees in shoes and in closets and does like crazy things and gets in trouble and pisses off Esther and does all of that, so yeah.
There's not, I mean, thinking about it, there's not really much for me to say. I would react the same way that Percy does in those given situations, I think. I really, it's just me, I guess. Just me.
I feel like every dude
just kind of there
who works on the show at one point or another has been like, I think I'm Percy.
Yeah, I really, sorry I can't articulate a proper answer for you all. But
I just want to tell you guys how much we love Austin, and this is not to say that we don't love all of us, but Austin's kind of like our little dude. I hope it's okay for me to divulge this. The majority of us are a few years older than Austin, and we were just so stoked that he was like really awesome and like a kind of a little baby, and we love him.
I can only imagine being 17 and just having like a throng of 25-year-old girls squeal every time I walk in the room. I don't know how you feel.
And then, and also on that note, Tiffany is so fun that like as Esther's foil, like if you guys have seen Shelly at large when we're sitting and she like sits down, there are a lot of times where I'm looking down or I'm looking away, and it's because if I look at Tiffany when I'm doing things, I burst out laughing because she is so funny. She's so funny.
I will just finish that with, we have, like, I think the cast and the crew have such a strong connection with each other. And when we're on set, when she does the boobs, I mean, everyone knows that. I was like, supposed to be passed out, and I'm like trying not to look at her, but I'm like looking at her with one eye, and I'm laughing, and I'm trying to hold it in. And when he has that Uncle Nolan line, I think that was improv.
Yeah.
And we're just like in that small room trying not to laugh, and we like, it's like a love fest, so we really do all love each other.
Matt had to kick me out.
Yes.
Because of the boobs thing. Every time Kylie did it, I was laughing so hard, and our sound guy kept looking at me and being like, oh, I hate you. And I was just like, I'm sorry, it's too funny. And we were in my room, and Matt was like, get out. You're out of your house.
Jasmine's childhood bedroom is really
So,
yeah.